Hello children, welcome to my channel Economics with Purnima Sharma. Today what I plan to teach you, that is further what I taught yesterday. Yesterday I explained to you that is propensity to save and types of propensity to save, and at the same time I explained to you derivation of consumption curve from saving and saving curve from saving curve to consumption curve. That yesterday I explained to you. So before starting the class again, I will make you prepared. I want to make develop interest in you by motivating you with the good thoughts, right? So if अगर आप खुद पर विश्वास रखो तो तुम वो कर सकते हो जो सोचते हो। ठीक है, तो माइंड में पहले आपको थॉट्स डेवलप करने हैं। थॉट्स कि मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, मैं भी 90 अबव ला सकता हूँ। अगर आप थॉट्स डेवलप कर लो तो आपका माइंड वो कराएगा जो आपने सोचा है। दैट पावर इज गिवन बाय गॉड टू अस, बट only we have to recognize this power which is given by God to us कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, right? This is the time to recognize your power, your potential gifted by God to you, and start focusing on preparation for examination. So now you can see I explained to you AD has two components as per Keynesian theory. This is what? C plus I. AS has two components, C plus S. Already I explained to you consumption and saving. Only the third, this is investment, is left. Now you can see investment function. Today I plan to explain it to you. What is investment? Investment that refers to the expenditure on creation of new capital assets, right? On the purchase of capital goods, whatever expenditure we do on the creation of new capital asset means capital goods which give return in future. This is known as investment, right? And you know capital good is the final good, right? So if we take consumption and capital, these are two final goods, right? So that is done by the firm, right? Generally done by the firm, and expenditure on creation of new asset by firm, by government, right? By household or sector also to construct the new houses. That all is our capital goods. And expenditure done on the creation of new asset during a period of time, this is known as investment, and this is known as capital formation too. In expenditure method also I explained to you, and this capital formation is done during a period of time. So capital formation, investment is the flow concept, right? Now let's start. So fixed asset, creation of new asset like machinery, like equipments used in production whose lifetime is more than 1 year, right? And you know that roads, dam, bridge, new houses by the household sector, residential houses, that all are the capital goods. On the purchase of these capital good, whatever expenditure is done is known as investment, is known as capital formation, and it's a flow concept. In some book, right, it is written raw material too, raw material. So student get confused कि raw material how could it could be, it's a intermediate good. Definitely in some book where raw material is mentioned, some few words are missing, because of which this is wrong. You know, raw material unused, that is not used in the same year, right? If raw material we purchase in the year but not unused in the same year, then it is inventory part of change in stock, and change in stock is what? Capital good, right? So where raw material is mentioned, so make it complete, not used in the same year in the production of goods. So this raw material will be treated as capital good. Make yourself clear. Now, there are two types of investment. You know, induced investment and autonomous, right? Induced investment is income elastic. You can see on x-axis we have income, on y-axis we have investment, right? And we can see as income increases, investment also increases, right? How it is possible? When income will increase, then saving will increase, because income and saving both are positively related, and some total of saving get converted into capital, and capital is used for investment. So if income will increase, the investment also increases, right? So it is income elastic, affected by the income level. If income will increase, investment will increase. If income will fall, investment also will fall. And it is also dependent on the profit expectation, right? What is the main motive behind this kind of investment? That is profit, to earn profit. So if I am expecting that I will get profit by doing this investment, then only I will do investment, and this investment is known as induced investment. Depends on the profit expectation, right? By and once it is done by the for the profit expectation, so it is generally done by the private sector. Generally, now we cannot say that always, but it is generally done by the private sector, because private sector do the investment for profit maximization, right? And what is the shape of the curve? You can see it is positively sloped. It is positively sloped. As income increases, investment also increases. As income fall, investment also will fall. So induced investment is moving up positively sloped. Why? Because it is income elastic, affected by the level of income, right? Come to the autonomous investment. Autonomous investment, it is income inelastic, not affected by the income. You can see whether income increases, falls and becomes zero, right? Investment remain constant, okay. So it is income inelastic, not affected by the income, independent from the level of income. Next is here, it does not depend, second point, it does not depend on profit, right? It is not guided by the profit motive, while it is guided by the social welfare. It is done for the social welfare. And once it is done by the social welfare, obviously it is not done by the private. Generally it is done by the government to serve the society. Autonomous. Even if income is zero, then also government will do for the social welfare, right? So what is the shape of investment curve in case of autonomous? That is parallel to x, horizontal straight line parallel to x axis, right? So what are the points of difference between these two type of investment? Income elastic, affected by the level of income. Income inelastic, depends on profit expectation. It does not depend on profit expectation. It is generally done by the private sector. It is generally done by the government. What is the main motive behind this? This is the profit, right? And main motive behind the autonomous investment is social welfare. What is the shape of this investment? It is positively sloped, moving up because of direct relationship between income and investment. It is parallel to x-axis, horizontal straight line, because it is income inelastic, not affected by the income. So it is in two types of investment. Now I will teach you that determinants of investment, right? What are the factors deciding whether the investment increases, falls and remain constant, right? What are the determinants? That point I will teach you. Investment, whether increases, falls and not change, right? Not change, remain constant. That point I am going to explain. Investment is the function of MEI and ROI, right? What is MEI? This is marginal efficiency of investment, right? It is marginal efficiency of investment, MEI, right? And what is ROI? Rate of interest. Rate of interest, right? ROI, rate of interest. So these two, we do the comparison between MEI and ROI, whether we have to do the investment or not, right? So MEI is what? It is expected rate of return. MEI, expected rate of return by doing the additional investment. If we do the additional investment, what is the expected rate of return? This is what? Marginal efficiency of investment, right? And what is ROI? That is rate of interest. What sacrifice we are doing? Once we are doing the इन्वेस्टमेंट बाय एडिशनल यूनिट, यानी कि हम एक मशीन अगर हम 1 लाख की खरीद रहे हैं तो उस पर हम कितना ROI, रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, यानी कि सैक्रिफाइस कर रहे हैं, और उस पर हमको कितना MEI मतलब रिटर्न मिल रहा है इसको करके. ये मेरा क्या है? सैक्रिफाइस, और ये मेरा क्या है? रिटर्न. अब मुझे ये खरीदनी है या नहीं खरीदनी है, वो कैसे डिसाइड करूँगे? एज ए एंटरप्रेन्योर we will compare these two, gain with sacrifice. gain क्या है? MEI, RO क्या है? sacrifice. ठीक है. तो if MEI, first I will teach you what is MEI. ROI, I think it is clear to everybody. This is the rate of interest. How it is decided? This is decided by the demand for loans and supply of funds with bank, राइट, इन द कैपिटल मार्केट, कि हम लोन की कितनी डिमांड कर रहे हैं और बैंक के पास कितने फंड्स हैं लोन देने के लिए. ये दोनों डिमांड सप्लाई डिसाइड करते हैं कितनी रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट होगी, राइट. बट यहाँ पे हम एज्यूम कर रहे हैं ROI को कांस्टेंट, ठीक है. दिस इज द एजम्पशन, राइट. बट इट ऑल्सो चेंजेस ड्यू टू द चेंज इन द डिमांड फॉर फंड्स एंड सप्लाई ऑफ फंड्स, राइट. Now what is MEI? MEI already explained to you. This is what? The expected rate of return by doing the investment of an additional capital good, right? So MEI is decided by two factors. One is supply price and another is prospective yield. Prospective yield and supply price, these two decide MEI, and MEI and ROI decide whether the investment is done, increase, decrease, or will not change, right. So what is supply price and what is prospective yield? That you have to understand first. Supply price is the value of a capital good, right, which we are using in the production, or which is used to replace the capital good which become obsolete, right, or which is newly introduced in the production, right. Price of new machine, new capital good of the same kind. If we are using this machine to replace the old one, तो same type की machine ठीक को का मार्केट वैल्यू जो हम पुरानी को रिप्लेस करने के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हैं या फिर नई मशीन लगा रहे हैं, तो मार्केट वैल्यू, प्राइस, मार्केट वैल्यू और प्राइस ऑफ ए न्यू मशीन यूज टू रिप्लेस द ओल्ड वन ऑफ द सेम काइंड, दिस इज व्हाट सप्लाई प्राइस. ठीक है. अगर मैं एक्स मशीन सपोज खरीद रही हूँ टू रिप्लेस द ओल्ड वन और टू इंट्रोड्यूस द न्यू वन, राइट, इसका प्राइस मेरा कितना है? सपोज आपका है सप्लाई प्राइस 1 लाख रुपए, राइट. दिस इज माई The supply price 10,000 is the supply price. It is the market value price of the new machine of that kind. X machine ka, again I am repeating, market value price is 10,000, which is the supply price. And what is prospective yield? That is prospective yield, it refers to the net return. Net return मतलब net of all cost. Cost मतलब running cost, right? Net return means net of all cost expected from a machine in its lifetime. ठीक है, अब एग्जाम्पल समझो, ये एक्स मशीन हमने खरीदी, ठीक है, इसका मशीन का जो लाइफ टाइम है वो 10 ईयर्स है, 10 साल, ठीक है, ये इसकी मार्केट वैल्यू है। और इस 10 साल में सपोज ये आपको 1200 करोड़ का प्रोडक्शन करने वाली है, राइट, 1200। और इसकी जो रनिंग कॉस्ट है, फ्यूल वगैरह, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, जिससे भी वो मशीन चलती है, रनिंग कॉस्ट नेट ऑफ ऑल कॉस्ट इज 200। तो हम करेंगे -200, तो कितनी इसने प्रोडक्शन किया, इतना प्रोडक्शन किया, कितना ईयर में, इसके लाइफ टाइम में, राइट। सो लाइफ टाइम में इसने कितना प्रोडक्शन किया, 1000 का, राइट। और इसकी सप्लाई प्राइस क्या थी, 10, इसकी मार्केट वैल्यू क्या थी, 10,000, राइट। So how we will calculate the prospective yield in, what is the formula to calculate MEI? Prospective yield upon supply price into 100. Understood? So supply prospective yield is 1000, and what is supply price? This is 10,000 into 100. This is the formula to calculate MEI. ठीक है, अब ये कितना आया, 10%, राइट। 2 0 से ये 2 0 कटेंगे, 100, 1 and 10, 10%, राइट। अब ये हमने इंटू 100 क्यों किया बच्चों, क्योंकि हम MEI का कंपैरिजन किससे कर रहे हैं, रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट से, जो किस में होता है, परसेंटेज में होता है। तो MEI को भी हमें परसेंटेज में ही कन्वर्ट करना है, ठीक है, सो दैट वी कैन कंपेयर विद ROI कि कितना हम परसेंट हमको गेन हो रहा है और कितना परसेंट हम सेक्रीफाइस कर रहे हैं। तो बोथ शुड बी इन परसेंटेज। नाउ MEI व्हाट इट कम्स 10, राइट। सो व्हाइल डिसाइडिंग whether the investment is to be increased or reduced, investment हम बढ़ाएं एज एंटरप्रेन्योर, कम करें या फिर कुछ भी ना करें, कांस्टेंट रखें। कैसे डिसाइड होगा, MEI और ROI, which we are assuming constant. So if I will make a diagram here, ठीक है, this is investment and here MEI and ROI, ठीक है, sacrifice and gain by doing the additional investment, right। हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट को क्या कर दिया, एज्यूम कर दिया कांस्टेंट, सॉरी ROI को हमने क्या किया, एज्यूम किया कांस्टेंट। MEI falls while doing the investment, ये क्या है, MEI, as investment increases MEI falls, right। So at this moment, at this E point, what is happening, MEI is equal to ROI। जब हम एक मशीन लगाने जा रहे हैं, उससे यानी कि हम उसके लिए जो सेक्रीफाइस कर रहे हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ROI इज जस्ट इक्वल टू द रिटर्न, एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ रिटर्न बाय दिस एडिशनल मशीन, दोनों बराबर हैं। दिस इज एट विच इन्वेस्टमेंट लेवल, OQ, राइट। बट प्रायर टू दिस OQ1 क्या है, MEI इज ग्रेटर देन ROI। देख रहे हैं ना, ये आपका R पॉइंट, Q1, RQ1 क्या है, MEI, एंड टी क्यू वन क्या है, आर ओ आई। तो आर क्यू वन इज मोर देन टी क्यू वन, यानी कि हमारा रिटर्न ज़्यादा आ रहा है और हम सेक्रीफाइस कम कर रहे हैं। तो सिचुएशन हमारे लिए क्या हो गई, बेनिफिशियल। रिटर्न ज़्यादा है, सेक्रीफाइस कम है। बाय डूइंग एडिशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट दैट विल इंड्यूस द इन्वेस्टर टू इन्वेस्ट मोर, और इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ेगा। तो यानी कि जब एम ई आई इज ग्रेटर देन आर ओ आई तो क्या होगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट will increase. First situation, right? When second, HOQ, when MEI is equal to ROI, then no change, equilibrium, no change in investment, ना बढ़ेगा ना कम होगा, right? Come to beyond, beyond क्या हो रहा है, ये ROI है तुम्हारा MN ROI and PN. PN is MEI, right? And here we can see beyond MEI is less than ROI. क्योंकि MEI क्या है, PN, PN, और ROI क्या है आपका, MN, ठीक है। तो MPN is less than MN, MEI is less than ROI। अब रिटर्न कम है और सेक्रीफाइस ज़्यादा है तो इट इज़ नॉट बेनिफिशियल फॉर द एंटरप्रेन्योर टू इन्वेस्ट, ठीक है। इससे क्या हो रहा है, उसको नुकसान हो रहा है क्योंकि रिटर्न कम और सेक्रीफाइस ज़्यादा, ठीक है। बाय डूइंग द एडिशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट तो वो क्या करेगा, अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट को कम करेगा, ठीक है। तो ये कैसे डिसाइड हुआ कि इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ेगा, कम होगा या नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं होगा, चेंज नहीं होगा, किससे, MEI या ROI से। MEI is greater than ROI, investment will increase, it will increase. MEI is equal to ROI, no change in the investment, it will remain constant at OQ. Third, when MEI is less than ROI, right, then investment will fall till both become equal. So this way the investment whether increased, decreased or should not be changed is decided by these two factors, right? I think it will be clear. In this chapter only two topics are left. Which are the two topics? That is accent investment or exposed, right? You know, this entire theory is based on planned accent, right, and exposed, this is actual realized. So Keynes only is taking planned AD, right? So whatever we are studying, investment, saving, that is all planned, this is not actual, right? Next here two topics are left. This is involuntary unemployment or full employment. Full employment is what? Is a situation where all the people who are willing to work, capable to work, right, they do not get a job. All do not get job. All the people who are willing to work at prevailing wage rate, capable to work, they do not get a job. These people will come under the category of involuntary unemployment. Involuntary यानी कि अनैच्छिक रूप से वो क्या है, अनएम्प्लॉयड है, वो चाहते हैं काम करना लेकिन इकोनॉमी फेल्स टू गिव जॉब टू दैम, तो वो कैसे हो गए, अनएम्प्लॉयड, बट दे वर नॉट विलिंग टू बी अनएम्प्लॉयड, ठीक है। तो दिस काइंड ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इज नोन एज involuntary unemployment. Another concept that is here full employment. Full employment means this is all the people who are willing to work, capable to work, they get a job. This is what full employment, right? Again full employment, again a contradictory statement used to come कि full employment does not mean zero unemployment. अब दोनों contradictory हो गए। एक तरफ हम कह रहे हैं कि फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट का मतलब है कि ऑल द पीपल हु आर विलिंग टू वर्क, कैपेबल टू वर्क, गेट अ जॉब एट प्रिवेलिंग वेज रेट, और दूसरी साइड हम कह रहे हैं कि इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कोई भी अनएम्प्लॉयड है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट फिर भी होगा, लेकिन वो कैसा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगा, temporary type of unemployment, right? If the economy is operating at full employment level, then the temporary type of unemployment we can see in the economy. Which two types of temporary type of unemployment we can see in the economy? First one, this is frictional unemployment during the change of job, right? The people may become unemployed for 2-3 days, 1 month, etc. Automatically once they will join the job, because they already have the appointment letter in their hand, right? So once they will go back on their job, newly selected, so again they will they will be employed. Frictional. Structural, right? If suppose due to the change in structure of the economy, the technology changes, right? The people who are not skilled in the technology used at this moment, they may become unemployed for a shorter period of time till they will learn that specific technology. They will be skilled in the new technology. Till that moment they will be unemployed. But once they will learn that technology, will come back on the job, again they will be employed. तो फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट का मतलब ये नहीं है कि ज़ीरो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है. अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगा, लेकिन कैसा होगा? टेम्परेरी टाइप ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल बी ओवरकम. तो this entire unit is ended. I hope that if you will go through all the videos, right, the concept will be very much clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can share in the comment box. Again I am telling, please subscribe, motivate me by giving comment, by giving likes to me, by doing subscribe to me, by watching the videos till the end. Motivate me so that I can do better for the society. Understood? So God bless you. Be a good human being and be a good citizen of India. Be a good future for all of us. Thank you. God bless you.